All right. Hello. All right. Give a little bit of time for people to show up, if there's anyone around at this time of night. Sure, maybe on the East Coast or outside the U.S. So when we left things, I was having out of memory issues when I was trying to do some work. So I figured it was time to look for memory leaks. And it's a big hassle trying to get a memory leak checker hooked up. I don't even remember how I ended up with that. I think I'm using the one built into VC, Visual Studio. And one of the objects I was finding was sticking around, seemed like, was the gen chunks, which are these, which are reference counted. And so presuming the reference count is going wrong. However, and I stared at the code a bunch and couldn't figure it out. But I didn't really work on investigating it. So what we're going to do is start writing code that lets us investigate it. Now, of course, this is an interesting data point on the whole don't like garbage collectors thing, because we always say that we don't spend very much time managing memory, and that's true. This particular system is part of that whole messy threaded stuff. This is doing threaded reference counting. And I don't normally write code like this. I don't normally have this level of problem. It's yet another reason why threading is evil. And of course, multi-threaded garbage collectors are kind of a harder problem as well, and they tend to have even more performance issues, which is probably why Java isn't so great. So what we're going to do, first we need to validate the assumption that there are objects that the reason the objects aren't getting freed is because the reference count isn't going to 0. So what we want to do is track them. Release gen. Does GC have any children that need to be need to be freed? Or is it leaking anything from not freeing? What we need to do is basically keep a table of all of the gen chunks in the system, and then check that table and make sure there are entries in it and that their ref count is not 0. And then we'll start trying to figure out who's not manipulating the ref count correctly. Where do we actually make the gen chunk? Generate chunk. Okay, it's malloc. And then I guess there are no more mallocs in here. Yeah, there aren't. Okay. How do you use this arena alloc? Oh, that's by the physics stuff. Okay. All right, so let's, we're just going to do a hacky thing. So I don't care about performance because this is only while I'm debugging this. So I'm not going to find an efficient table to do this. We'll just reuse this -x to make it thread safe. And make sure that's not already in the list, and then add it to the list. And then it has to be in the list. And if it was in the list, we delete it from the list. The current, that's this way. All right. So maybe that works. So then here we want to monitor that we freed it. And then we also want to we also actually want to make sure that when we update the reference counts, it's in the list, just to prevent anything else. I think that's smart. Okay. And then let's not make it static so that we can make sure we can see it in the debugger. Oops. Yep. Oh, yep. That's incorrect. Why did the physics stop working? The physics was working before I did this, wasn't it? Maybe I made some change at the last minute. Oh, yep, I must have broken something. I must have removed the physics. I must have disabled the physics stuff because I wasn't sure if that was responsible or something. I probably have an F0 somewhere. Why has all this stuff changed? Oh, because I renamed the thing and I didn't check it in. I didn't see anything. Oh, wait, here we go. Not seeing anything in physics, right? Oh, right, I see. Okay. All right, so this works. And then, actually, it's in here. Right here. All right. So, what was it called? Chunk. Gen chunk. That's a lot. What's it called? I don't even remember. Underscore count. All right. So there's a bunch of things in the table. So now we can record who is incrementing and decrementing the reference count and find out which one is not getting subtracted. Where's the gen chunk type? There it is. So what can you ref? You can ref. There's a queue. There's I don't want actually not in this. There's a queue. There's a cache. There's a creation. Then set this to 0. that doesn't increment it. It's just a forward declare. Yep. Oh, there's one from mesh chunk status. If we don't add it to the queue, we release it. If we do add it to the queue, okay, yeah, because it's I should have none here, so this is adding the first one. Okay. We want to wait till the builders stop. If the builders are running when we stop, then some of them will be outstanding. Why is it continuing to come in? Oh, because they're slow now because of the extra code, I think. Or do I not have minimized memory set? I don't. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it was bogus. Maybe those were just meshes that were still being created at the time that I was shutting down. Yeah, the Q chunks is stable. This should cause some stuff to build. I don't see much changing now. I guess it's just fast. All right, let's see. It seems to have hung. and I have no, I guess that's debug, and I have no mouse cursor. Oh, no, it is off now. Stop manager. Okay, stop manager is the thing that sets the flag and then waits. Oh, it didn't. I forgot to have it wake the. What is the. Wait a week. I meant to do that. Alright, so maybe that was all bogus. Maybe this isn't linking. Because I'd forgotten to turn off the minimize. Or turn on minimize. Numgen chunk 0. Okay, so that wasn't the problem at all. Hooray. Alright, well, let's see what stuff the checker finds. A lot of small blocks. And then a bunch of 8303, 8203s. Which is the physics. And yeah, we're not freeing the physics cache. I don't know where the physics cache lives. I guess it's in physics. Okay, how do we update phys chunk? Where's update phys chunk? So free much chunk physics. I didn't need to do that. Okay. I just couldn't find it. Yes, this is live. Free mesh chunk physics. What? How does this one? But the other one was linking to it fine. How did it? What did I just change that broke that? Did I just delete it? Was that not what it was called? What? Did I accidentally delete it somehow? I don't see a definition for it anymore. Did I rename it while I was faffing with that? Oh look, I accidentally deleted it. What was the function I started to write that was redundant? Briefest chunk. Okay, and then where was this in the file? Oops. There it is. Very weird. Okay, and I need to call free physics cache. It's not exactly for the experience of it at this point. I've been programming too long to do that. It's many things. It's for fun. It could potentially turn into an actual game. You know, I mean, why do I make games at all? It could turn into a game I could charge for and have it be a moneymaker potentially. But I also do this because I wanted to stream some development, or not really stream it. I wanted to have videos of development to, theoretically, to provide data that people could use to, like, say, what do programmers do? Like, what kind of mistakes do they make? How do they find them? You know, it's kind of that kind of stuff. So, you know, as a service to the world in some sense. Num gen chunk. Did I not wait long enough for it to finish? Possibly. I should, let me write code that shuts down the workers. Yeah. Get pending task. If worker stop, return false. Yeah, you're not supposed to need volatile for cross-thread communication. I just do it reflexively. Microsoft actually does something a little special for it. And then I get pending task returns false. Actually, this is going to hide it too much, so let's do the reverse this. If not, get pending task, then return 0. Okay. So stop manager flag. Tell the manager to wake. Then we set the stop worker flag. What's it called? Stop pending task. Worker stop. Stop worker flag. And then we have to, I don't remember what it's called. Post. Wait, why are they, what's the pending task count here? Oh, that's the name of the semaphore. Okay, right. Yeah, so we just post. Oh, I see. The semaphore itself is the count. Right, yeah, yeah. Okay, and then how do we know when all the workers are done? We really need an atomic increment, which I don't have because portable. Oh, maybe does SDL have portable? We'll just use a semaphore. So there, okay, from Q. Let's say that SDL mutex. Let's just use ref count mutex. That's total hack, since this is just a total hack anyway. All right, so okay, I'm looking back at chat. When writing a lexer, is it best to defer the parsing of flows and integers so you can do so multi-threaded? I've never bothered to. Even single-threaded, it might be advantageous because you can batch them, sort of data-oriented design. The classic design of the lexer with lex and yak. Lex is a single token and then returns that to yak, and yak does whatever with it, then parses the next token and does it, etc. And even there, the lexer is not very efficient. Like, you might actually want to lex a bunch of stuff, lex 60 tokens at a time. So yeah, there might be some kind of sort of optimal thing of like lex a whole bunch of tokens and then grab all the integers and parse them all, and grab all the floats and parse them all, and etc. On the other hand, the float ASCII to number conversion is really gross. And you're not going to you're not going to be SIMDing that or anything like that. Now, you could do it from other threads, but that's super micro. I think that might be too small to be worth doing. I mean, normally in a lexer, it's like a compiler context where you're better off simply writing the compiler to be single-threaded and running multiple compilers in parallel, right? Because you have multiple files to compile, unless you're doing a Unity build. It's just so much simpler. You don't have to deal with that. You don't have to worry about these sort of micro optimization questions of, is that enough of work for a single thread to go do? But yeah, like, until you get to actually running the optimizer, you don't care about the values of any of the floats. So you could batch up every single float in the thing and farm them out to a separate thread or something if you want to. It kind of all comes down to how much of the performance problem in your app is in the lexer as opposed to something else. Like, do you want to be doing this level of optimization there? Okay, I caught up. I'll look over again in 30 seconds to see if there were any important replies to what I just said. So, okay, so I'm counting my workers. And so now I can check if workers goes to 0. And then when we get to here, they actually really have all shut down. I just need some statement here, so let's just do that. Let's see if that works. Okay. And then we can turn that memory minimization off again, because now we're actually waiting for them to finish. Now, I do think there will be a leak actually here, because there's the data structure, the mesh chunk status. So I think those aren't getting, when I stop, there's a bunch of pending requests that actually have reference counts. Yeah, okay. So I need to clear them. And I think there's no bug here. Like, I think I was correct in my earlier interpretation that when I made sure it was stopped. But I just want to go ahead and make sure this works. So in the future, if I leak check, this stuff can be accurate. Okay, so the mesh chunk status table. I haven't looked at this code in so long, I don't remember what any of this stuff is doing. So mesh chunk status. Why are there 2 of them? Do we do a different? Yeah, it needs triangles or not. We actually do them differently. If they're physics or, but those are, no, that's gen chunk. Wait. Oh, right. The mesh chunks have gen chunks in them. But they don't. They don't. Mesh chunk says don't have chunks in them. So what is it that I'm mesh chunk status? What was I thinking about when I did that? Oh, it does. Where? Oh, it's chunk set. Yeah, okay. So I need to go through and clear out that. So I can just call abandoned mesh chunk status for all of them. So stop manager. I'll do a classic C hack here. Less than, what was it? Mesh. I've already forgotten what was the size of this. Mesh status. If mesh status does not equal, then it's whatever I just said it was called, abandoned mesh chunk status, something like that. All right. No, I still have mesh chunks. They're not getting freed. Okay. Number of workers running 0, ref count. Okay, so let's look at the augmented ref count table finally. And see who has it. 3. And I think that's mesh chunk status. Yeah, it is. Okay, so did my abandon here not work? We only release it if it's valid. Is it possible that the chunk set valid flag isn't getting set properly? Oh, this is the single threaded version. Okay, we set it true if we set it. This is the only place I've seen so far that sets it. Yeah, and that's the single thread one. So every place that sets it multi-threaded is that just that one place, and it sets the set valid flag. So there shouldn't be any ones without the valid flag. On the other hand, we could just use whether it's a null pointer or not, instead of keeping a separate flag. I'm not sure why I did it that way. And I do 0 it. See if this is ever getting run. Oh, it's getting run during build. Jeez. cancel. It didn't get called. Oh, stupid. This is one of the downsides of using VC6 is that it lies about loops without curly braces. Okay, there we go. We're abandoning one. So then, do we actually release anything? No, we still don't. We did never actually abandon anything in here, which seems wrong. Wait, did we turn minimize memory back off or not? Yeah, we did. So it should definitely be building. So I'd expect there to be some of these out there. We allow all the threads to finish their current job, but we don't allow them to start new jobs. So there's a whole bunch of jobs queued up, which could include some of these. So why does it not find them? Let's break here again. I'm not sure if that you shouldn't be depending on the IDE feature anyway is a dig at my complaint about editors, about people relying on editors. Okay, status is 3. What is status 3? That would also be nice, a debugger that shows you enums correctly. Actually, this might. Maybe it's just because I'm not putting the freaking enum as a type. Let's, out of curiosity. Oops. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. Nope, it doesn't, sadly. All right, so what was status 3? Chunk status processing. What does chunk status processing mean? Oh, we zero out the chunk. We zero out all the chunk data at that point anyway. Oh, it's the non-neutronal case. It's the physics. Wait, is this in the worker manager? Oh, wow, we're doing the physics conversion inside the worker manager. That's probably not the right place to do that. This would probably all get handed off to a worker. Okay, but we could be in this case, so we need to... How do we tell the difference between those two kinds of MCSs? I'm not sure it's stored in the MCS. It's in the RM. Does the MCS store the RM? Oh wait, what was that sub 2? Wasn't there a sub 2? That's sub 2. Yeah, okay. One is for physics and one is for renderer. I remember that now. That means I'm not iterating over all of them because there's a third dimension. But then why does this work? Why does this compile? Oh, because I do arrow. Okay, yep. So that's a meaningless test. They're not pointers. This is times 2. 0, 0, I not status. Okay, that should be correct. So we only abandoned half of them. Get a lot of data queued up and stop it. Gen chunk 2. Interesting. So almost all of them, but not quite all of them. So 0. Okay, what about the second one? Sub 0. Okay, and that is initialization, right? Oh, no, Q. Ref Q. Okay. If it gets added to the queue, then we've already added the ref count for the queue. We should probably just do this in the right order instead of this. There was some reason I did that. Oh, because it might pull it off the queue even before I wake the monitor. So I need the ref count incremented already. Yeah, that's why I did that. Okay, so we add it, and then when we delete it from the queue, so that's the finished gen queue. I have no idea what any of these calls do. First chunk and cache released. Oh, the queue. There's still an outstanding queue. So we have to go through the queue. Let's copy the last line. So we want to go grab every item. Don't know what that does. Let's just check to make sure. Okay, it's some kind of status table of another type. So we don't need to do that. We don't need to add it to the cache. We just want to release it like that. All right. And I've got to add a breakpoint. Gen chunk 0. Yay. All right. So now we can turn off the monitor. You know, there really shouldn't be that many going at once. You should have, oh, but there can be a bunch in caches. Yeah, we'll just leave it. And then, even though this is all still broken, let me commit it. Because I didn't commit it yesterday. Okay, so what else did we still? What other big things were there? There's nothing being allocated line. Oh, I used the wrong number. Wait, where was? Here it is. 778. chunks don't get freed. Yep, that's totally true. All right. Vertex build buffer. I think that's legit because it just means something got built and then we killed the jobs in process, and one of the jobs was responsible for taking that as input and processing it, and since it never got processed. Oh god. Well, so we could either make it wait and for all the queues to be empty before it kills them, or we could write a bunch of code that pulls things off the queues and cleans them up, or we can just let this show up in here and have to deal with it. Well, the case we want when we're running out of memory is that we have lots of something as opposed to just a couple of things. So I think we'll just go with that for now. Okay, I'm checking this back. For performance, I use a program called Very Sleepy, which gives me better, gives perfectly usable profiling info, and I've never found any of the Microsoft tools for that to be any good. I have not tried the latest ones. So yeah, I don't see anything systematic here. So what we want to do is run until it's until we were, what was I doing when we were, oh right, I was encountering that bug that I couldn't place blocks, that they place in the physics but they don't place in the graphics. I was trying to figure out what that was, and that suddenly caused me to run out of memory. I guess because I'm triggering lots of rebuilds here. Every time I click, I trigger a rebuild, and that's potentially leaking memory or something. Oh, I just built inside myself. So I'll just do a bunch of builds, and we'll see if we get a leak now when I exit. I don't see anything big. A lot of 32-byte things, but nothing super leaky. So I don't know why I was getting that out of memory none of the time. That's kind of sad to do all that work and end up with no thing. Just using up a bunch of logistics memory, which makes sense because I was placing logistics blocks, not regular blocks, because I can't even see what I'm doing. Nope, that's the wrong thing. 118. This is just like an arena or something, right? Oh, this is my hack. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Yeah, I don't see anything. All right, so back to debugging why I don't see these things I'm building. Yes, it's called Very Sleepy. It's this app right here. There was a program called Sleepy, and then somebody else modified it and I guess called it Very Sleepy or something. It's a really inefficient profile. It just runs a separate process that pauses your program and uses some Windows facility to look at the stack or look at something to find out what the program counter is, and then unpauses your program. So it's a pretty inefficient sampling profiler, but it's good enough. Every time I tried to use VTune, I went crazy, so I gave up on it again. I do not, sadly, have advice for getting into game development. I work at the fringes of game development. I last worked professionally as an actual game developer in 2000, so I don't really know. I mean, if you want to, that's assuming you want to get into the industry. If you want to get, because you said get hired. If you want to be an indie, of course, that's easy. You just need to save a bunch of money and then become an indie. All right, so, sorry, I just got distracted by reading chat and I've forgotten what I just said I was going to do. Oh yeah, figure out why block updating is failing. And the problem is I have no idea when that started failing. Like, I was doing all the logistics stuff, which required me to place blocks, and it was still working then. Like this, I was placing blocks fine. And then I started putting down the pickers, and sometime during that, when I was doing the pickers, it must have broken somehow. So all we're going to do is we're just going to step through when we place a block and see what happens. Oh, where is that code handled? There we go. All right. So let's place a block. Boom. Add it to the edit chunk for this area. Then we find the cache chunk, and we set its dirty flag. I don't know what happens when you step with other threads, so before I step across this, let me... the problem is with debugging this is it's going to jump threads. Okay, so actually I want to restart because I want to turn back on minimize memory so that there's nothing else being built except the thing I build, like so that the mesh builders stop. Yep, okay. So the mesh builders have stopped. So now I go create something. Did I delete the breakpoint? Oh, now it updates. Oh, right. I remember I found this was only happening in a certain, well, great. It just started working spontaneously. What did I just change? Oh, I turned on minimize memory. All right. Is it only going to happen when I don't have minimize memory turned on? Is it actually related to that? It's locked up when I hit escape. Num workers running. 2. Why are these workers not stopping? See, I posted a task that nobody is allowed to... Oh, no, they removed that. Wait, do they remove it? I thought I made them not remove it. Task. No, how did this ever work? No, because I didn't do that right. I need to post 1 per thread. Yeah, that decrements it. So I need to do multiples of these. All right. Crazy. You don't like IDEs for debugging? All right, well, that would explain why it broke if I was running in minimized memory mode all the time and it was broken only not in minimized memory mode. Okay, now when I escape, is it going to actually work? Yep, it did. Okay. Interesting. So what would be the difference between those? If we run, oh, this does nothing. That was a test of only having one mesh marker. So here it is. That's the entire difference, which changes the cache size though. I can't come up with a hypothesis for why it wouldn't work. Well, I guess one possibility is that if you're in minimized memory mode, usually the workers have no other tasks to do. And so they'll immediately get to rebuilding your thing. So maybe it's just that they're busy and the prioritization is wrong. Because I did just hack in this the build thing for this when I went to start doing the factory stuff. So maybe I didn't deal with that priority stuff correctly. Although I do remember coding it. I have that dirty flag, and I seem to remember prioritizing things that weren't dirty. But maybe I didn't, or maybe I did it wrong. So now I'm just running a release build so that it builds the mesh stuff faster. You can still see it's still building. The queue chunks is still increasing. The VBus storage, the VBus cache count is changing. I can't point because I don't have a cursor. It's still increasing. It's still building stuff in the far distance that we can't see. Stuff out in the fog. That's a little odd. Why does it take so long to build that far out? I wonder if I have some performance issues too. Okay, hopefully it'll stop soon. I guess I need to set it to a middle ground. The 9 is instantaneous and the 11 takes forever. Yeah, it's still going. And that mesh worker thread's active is totally wrong. Yep, there you go. It stopped. Okay, so now... Oh, now, if we build, I bet it works. So I bet it's just that priority stuff isn't right. Yep. Okay. So the stuff wasn't getting updated because I did not prioritizing. So let's fix that. That's in the renderer somewhere. How do we decide which chunks to add? Wait, these aren't in order at all. This goes in order because we go near to far. Oh, we do. There's a sort somewhere. No, there isn't a sort somewhere. Where does the prioritization happen? Because it clearly is building out into the distance. Here we're taking the ones we've done. Where do we... Oh no, this is all part of the single threaded. It's somewhere totally different. There's just a totally separate function. Request push generation. Priority. Ah, dirty. Okay. Oh, and then we sort by priority. But not by dirty. Oh, we don't care about dirty. It's just whichever one's closest. Right. If somebody makes a change that's far away, you don't want to prioritize that. You want to prioritize everything closer. So you do want to ignore the dirty flag. You just want to use priority. Well, unfortunately, I do not have a moderator in the chat, I don't think. And I don't know the mod commands offhand. What was I doing? Oh, right. So these get sorted. So then they get output in the sorted order. Then we call swap requested meshes. And maybe that doesn't, but it does obey order. At least it obeys order initially. Swap requested meshes. The error request array in the mesh building stage. I don't know how the priority is handled. It doesn't look like it's actually doing anything with the priority. Because we just end up creating a queue. Don't we? No, the worker thread, the worker matrix, that's why the worker matrix exists. Finishes up everything that he's got. No, he's not ever looking at priority. Doesn't look like. Is it relying on the order that they came in? I don't see how. Yeah, maybe this is just broken. Maybe it doesn't actually handle that. And I was just getting lucky in the minimize mode. I hate all this code. Goddamn. I need to find what the better way of coding it is. I don't know. So maybe it's just whoever gets created first creates the task. Where do we actually create the? All right. Max built meshes. Render requested meshes. We're going through all the meshes in the order they requested them. We check their status. Oh, in the order they requested. We check their status. If right, okay. Okay, and then okay, now the question is already in progress do nothing, otherwise add the task, but that task is staying in queue order. So if we get it, like, okay, well, we haven't gotten to this yet. Let's see. Like, if we get 50 meshes requested, okay, so add gen task can fail. So maybe what we need to do is make this queue smaller. Yeah, max gen chunks is 256. It still seems like it ought to get built sooner rather than later. It seems like it should prioritize. It's got a bunch of chunks requests outstanding. It eventually comes through first in the list because it's close to the camera and should hit this path. Now, if the gen chunk queue, task queue is full, this will just fail and it won't trigger an outstanding proction. But nobody else can get added to that list until this guy. Well, you could get unlucky while you're processing this list. Oh, I hate this system. I can't think of a good way to do this. I mean, that may not be what's going wrong. But it's probably not what's going wrong. But if all the chunks are valid, then we build the mesh. We add it to the mesh queue. And that maybe could get buffered up too. Maybe there could end up being a lot of buffer. All right, so let's at least change the numbers and see what happens. Okay, so it's just max tasks, which was 64, right? Now it's really slow because it can't get enough parallelism, even though there's only like 3 threads. So I'm not sure how it can't get enough parallelism. and there's no physics. Maybe that's insufficient for correctness. I don't know why, but oh, that's right. You actually have to serve 16 gen chunks just to get a single thing. Okay, this is really weird. Apparently without 30, at least a 32 log queue, it doesn't work. That's kind of frightening. Yeah, and it's just not updating those. All right, so what's the very first one? RM, it's about symbol. What? Am I in the wrong thread? Oh, I'm in release build. Okay, it's a little concerning that shortening the task queue, it just doesn't work. But that's probably something I also need to look at. All right, so the question is that the first requested mesh? These triangles, yes. Rebuild chunks 0, because I did get through at least once. No, this is not the right one. I don't think. Requested. Three. So for some reason there's oh, but it's from the physics requests, and the physics requests, even the ones it already has, I think. No, only if it doesn't have it. So why is this requesting failing? Is the physics cache too small? Is it constantly... Oh, nope, that caused it not to be able to build anything again. Wow, this stuff is super sensitive. Weird. Oh, no, it's not. Maybe that was user error. Nope, oh, here it is. Well, I did move, so. It could be the same issue, though it wasn't getting prioritized. But then I would have thought I'd have run into that back in the day. Ooh, except I only go fast by flying, and then I don't interact with physics. So yeah, I think that's happening here, the physics requests. Oh, and remember I was complaining about falling through the world if I moved too far. But that was only in multiplayer. Yeah, I've not fallen through the wood. I clearly have the physics here. Is chat still working? I haven't seen any chat updates in forever. Look at the suspiciously straight line. Oh, there I fell through. Although I thought if the physics doesn't work, now maybe it does too. Maybe it just does default to open and when you fall, it should default to solid, so you get stuck until the physics catches up. I don't know, it seems to manage to get the physics to update here. Oh, it did eventually manage to build it. Oh, that's because, yeah, by now everything has caught up. I bet. Nope, the cache is still updating. I don't know. Oh, I guess I did reduce the task size. Maybe that helped. The task list count. It helped, but not enough. So, like, these will catch up after the next 64 meshes get built or something. Oh, now we out of memory. But now it's too late to run the leak checker. Yeah, the main issue is just that I need to change those queues to actually be updatable. But they're like an abstracted data structure that I didn't really want to have to mess with. But yeah, it needs to be able to pull items off the queue to make room for the new one, not just sort them. That's the actual problem that's failing right now, is that it can't even add it to the queue. I could make the queues bigger so it can always add it and then sort it. But if you somehow manage to get enough work queued up, this could happen again. So taking items off the queue is kind of a problem. But I think that's what actually you need to be able to do. So yeah, you need one extra spot in the queue, and you add the new one, and then sort them, and remove the oldest one or the deadest one or whatever. But I forgot, what was I trying to make happen here? Yeah, there. It just took a long time. Yeah, which the whole idea of, oh, I want to remove the tasks from the queue just makes me feel like queues aren't the right thing. I mean, that is a type of queue. It's not like it's just, the whole thing just seems a little suspicious. I mean, what's really going on is there's a bunch of work that needs to be done, and what work needs to be done is changing every frame as the game reacts to you. And then, so we have a whole bunch of things. We have the list of requested meshes. Then we have a derived list of requested gen chunks. And then we have task queues. And each of them is independent. And really what you want is a worker thread goes, okay, what is the thing I need to do next? What worker thread is ready for work? And it's like, what is the most important thing to do now? Let me do that now. And none of that is coded that way. In fact, I think they serve all. Yeah, they serve all mesh requests before all gen chunk requests, because a mesh request won't come in until the gen chunks for it exists. So by the time you get the mesh request, the gen chunks are created. So probably that list never fills up. It's only the mesh chunk creation list that fills up. And since it has to create 16 meshes per, well, 4 meshes per, 4 gen chunks per mesh, the task size still should be able to be 4. I don't know. That's really weird. Heck, the task size should be able to be 1. Oh, there, I outran the physics again, I think. Maybe. Under this theory. And we ran over. That's what I was trying to do. I wanted to run for a little while and then so I need to run for a while and then exit and look at the memory leak check info. So we'll let this different stuff load in and show new people the Factorio stuff. Whoops, that's a weird glitch. Why are they disappearing? Yep, there's something a little wrong there. I don't remember seeing that before. Is it happening on the uphill? No, the uphill is perfectly fine. It's only on the downhill. Very odd. So yeah, let me run around a little bit and then exit, and we'll see what. How can I go this fast? Am I in fly mode? No. How can I run this fast? That's very weird. Maybe I'm not capping my velocity. Maybe I'm just accelerating forever. Oh, no, it was always because I was running into blocks that was slowing it down before. All right, maybe that's enough. Oh, that didn't take too long to exit, so I don't think there's going to be much in this leak check. Maybe I have to be putting down blocks to trigger it. Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of junk, but it's not an outrageous amount of junk because I'm not freeing everything. Yes, the conveyor corners was definitely a thing that I really wanted to feel good. The animation is not great yet, but the objects moving on them is really nice. And after I did this, I went and looked at a Factorial Let's Play, and they just, both sides go through it at the same time, and it looks like the outer one actually stretches as it goes through, like it's part of a texture just being drawn or something. I'm not positive, but I couldn't see very well. The guy wasn't, the Let's Play I was looking at wasn't super zoomed in or anything, but that's what it looked like they were doing. So yeah. Okay, so and so we need to put down some blocks, which is invoking the logistics system. Maybe the logistics system is eating up memory. Oh, I actually showed it that time. Didn't take that long to update. But nothing else says. I just placed one there. All right, now let's exit. That took a little longer. No, it's still not that much data. That's pretty big. Logistics 118. That's the same. Oh, that's just that hash table. It's gotten big because we have our hash table tracking all the ore blocks. So that just got big. No, there's no big data. Maybe the out of memory is coming from. I mean, this is after I free everything, right? Like, this is maybe all the caches are building up with all this memory usage, and that's just eating up too much memory and fragmenting it or something. Okay, so what was I doing when I wasn't worrying about the memory problem, which I do still need to worry about? Oh, right, I was trying to figure out the queuing problem. So what you really want is for each thread, when it says I'm available for work, wants to pick right now, this instant, what is the most important task. So we can make the worker manager maintain a list of what's the current most important task. And then it needs to be a little bit longer so that if multiple tasks wake up, multiple threads wake up at the same time, they can do it. And we can do that by setting max tasks small. That should work. But it hangs, so we need to find out why that hangs. As far as I can think, it ought to work with only one task. Now the problem is, how do we debug why it doesn't work? Worker manager is just going to be, waiting to get woken up. Three said threads and get pending task. How many threads do we have? Numproc. Mesh workers. No, mesh workers is what I wanted to know. I think it's 4? No, it's 3. Okay, it is 3. So we saw all the threads were waiting for work. Okay, so the possibilities are that they're not waking up the manager as much as they should, but the swap always wakes it, doesn't it? Yep. All right, so we get here, we have some work. Here's a chunk that's not valid. Oh, I see. I added a separate thing from the max task, the outstanding procgen. I don't even remember that. We check if we've already got it in the queue. If it's not in the queue, we check if we can start it. I don't even know what that does, and the step in didn't work. The lines don't seem to be matching. What's the return value? Is in progress. It claims it is in progress. It claims it's queued it. And so a worker thread should be able to get to it. Oh, this queue doesn't work. Yeah. The one long array doesn't work. You have to set mask tasks to 2. Because one entry doesn't get used the way the head tail works, I believe. Fiber-based job systems. Not ship them. I played with them for a project that I was doing and thought they were pretty neat. For not for jobs, for like AIs. The whole replace the state machine with a script kind of fibers. I've never tried them with job systems. I'm sure Charles Bloom has opinions on it, but this is the only thing I've ever done that's job-like ever. And I don't actually have a job system. It's all this ad hoc stuff. But that's because they are these weird reschedulable jobs. Okay, so now, why can't I look at these? Because I'm in the wrong thread? That wouldn't make any sense. Oh, because I didn't break. Okay, so we have no meshes pending, which makes sense because the gen is clearly not getting finished. We clearly genned a thing, the head and the tail got advanced, and we successfully genned a thing. You know what? We're just going to step through the manager. Actually, let's see. Did we get one finished? Yes, here we go. We finished the gen. We had the proc gen for it. We added to our cache. Boom. Now, when we go to get the first requested chunk, it was in the gen cache, as expected. So now we update our status. We set that this one is there. Increments ref count. Boom. Now we go right to the next chunk. Now we should be ready to queue up the next chunk. So it's not in the cache. Why is our outstanding proc gen still 2? There we go. It should be building slower than usual because the task list is so short. But that should now mean that when we build something, nope, it still doesn't work. It should get queued with priority. It is not the first thing. Why is the thing we just added not the first thing? Consider mesh dirty. Yes, this is. M is 0. Why is, but now it's not. Oh, that was before we sorted. No, it wasn't. Right here we sorted. M is 0. Let's just do it there. Rm of m rebuild chunks. So we go to the swap. We locked. Delete any requests that are already in the mesh building stage. Oh, if they've requested a mesh and we've already gotten to the point of making the mesh as opposed to the gen chunks for it. So we find the MCS for it. And it is. All right. Let's try not doing this. Maybe this isn't necessary. Oh, but no, if it's in that, if it's in the processing state, that means its gen chunks are all already finished. That would explain why it doesn't show up in our list, though. So, yeah. So what do? We go through all the lists. Wait, we're getting chunk status from the wrong thread. This doesn't seem safe at all. Unless only the renderer thread's allowed to manipulate that. But I don't think that's true. I think the worker manager is who normally manipulates it. So I think this is all wrong. I think it's all totally busted. Crap. I don't want to rewrite this system again. I need somebody I can like whiteboard this with and work through it and figure out what the simplest thing that actually works correctly is to replace the whole system with. And maybe there isn't one. Maybe it is just this complicated. All of this because people said I should do the drill before doing the assemblers. If we had just gone straight to an assembler, we wouldn't be dealing with any of this. No, that's not true. As soon as I tried to put down a new block, I would have had the problem. So here we're taking old requests that aren't even in the new lists and abandoning them. but we also culled stuff out of the new list. So that seems like a bug here already. It seems like a bug that if a thing was being processed, you might abandon it. And like I said, it's being called from the wrong thread, so that seems like it could go horribly wrong. So maybe there's something else going on here that prevents that, but none of this seems trustworthy because you can't even be looking at the MCS from this thread. All of this work should be being done on the worker thread. All right, well, I'm going to have to take a break. Not because of stream program breakingness, just to let this problem go around in my head a little bit. So I think I'll take maybe a half-hour break. And maybe if I'm lucky, I'll come back and have a better idea of what to do to tackle this. So I'm going to stop and restart the stream. So yes, sorry, Abner, you just came in just too late. But I will start back up in a little bit and go ahead and come back for that. So hopefully half an hour. So figure sometime between, well, my time 7:30 and 7:45. So between 25 and 25 and 45, 25 and 40 minutes from now. We'll see. So yeah, see you in a bit.